You're listening to Radio Kidnappers, the voice of Hawke's Bay. This is the program called The Wonderful World of Wardini Books, and it's our pleasure, as always, to have in the studio, in the hot seat, so to speak, the wonderful Lou. How you going, Lou?
Very well. It is hot.
It is hot, and you are all dressed up. And I think you should stand up and give us a bit of a twirl, because you are dressed up for your big hat. Come out of there so you can do the twirl on there. Look at that. Why, does that look glam or what?
I didn't just flash my lip. Yeah, Harry Potter night.
Harry Potter night. Always something good happening in Wardini Books.
Yeah, well, this is Hastings District Library.
Oh, is it really?
So the Great Wardini is doing a magic show, and I've got a little bookstore.
Oh, that would be awesome.
So I thought we'd dress up, and I like the bad characters.
Yeah.
So
you're sort of like one of those evil...
Death Eater.
Yes.
Yes.
Oh, good on you. And let's have a look at our books. I was going to say something else, but I've forgotten.
Right.
And the first book we've got is Alfred and Albert.
Alfred and Albert, and they're Alfred and Albert because they're aardvarks. This is by Morag Hood, and it's a love story.
Yes.
So these are two aardvarks, clearly, and Alfred and Albert, there they are, and their little bird friend, who plays a very crucial role. Alfred loves stars, broccoli and picnics, and Albert loves flowers, sunshine and cheese, and they sleep a lot. The problem being Alfred sleeps during the day, and comes out at night, and Alfred sleeps all day, so they never meet. But occasionally they have thoughts like it'd actually be quite nice to be a pair.
Wouldn't it?
Because they get a bit lonely sometimes. And most of the time their minds were on other things. How green is broccoli? It's like little random things that Morag Hood does. I really like them. Will I have enough cheese? I mean, that's everybody's problem, isn't it?
I hate cheese. Come on.
Do you?
God, only rats eat cheese. Who could eat cheese? Put that in... Oh,
I love cheese.
And what about that blue stuff? That's when you open it up, it's all watery and it stinks.
No, the heavier the stink, the better.
How do you put that in your mouth?
Nom.
Oh,
Just you.
Same as Marmite.
Oh, yeah, right. We digressed quite some. Anyway, so... they're getting a bit lonely and a bit sad, so little birdie there becomes matchmaker, and he goes to quite great lengths. He rings an alarm in Albert's burrow, and he just goes, oh, why am I awake? And goes back to sleep again, doesn't even get up. And he goes back to sleep, and then, oh, where's that broccoli going? The little bird's dressed up as broccoli. So this goes on for some time, and the bird is going completely nuts. And is very sad, so Alfred knows how to cheer that bird up, and he's going to do a picnic with some broccoli, obviously, and then he manages to fall down a hole, and it just happens to be Albert's burrow, and they meet, and the rest, as they say, is history.
And they live happily ever after.
And that was the story of how they met, and they lived happily ever after. Yeah. And I just think it's beautiful and a lovely little story and quite quirky, and I like something that's a bit different.
I actually thought when you showed me the book, why has it got two A's? And I thought it was two pigs with long noses, but I've done
and long ears.
Yes, right.
They're aardvarks, Ken.
That's right. And the next book is called Run in the Park. What's that all about?
Run in the Park. Yes. It's a lovely little novella by, coincidentally, David Park, who's an Irish writer. And this one is deals with Couch to 5K, where you've never done any running before, but you're going to go on a programme, and eventually at the end of it you're going to do a 5K park run.
Yes.
And I think we have them in New Zealand as well as overseas. So it's various characters, it's fiction, so they're little characters, and they've all signed up for the Couch to 5K for different reasons. So Morris is the first character that we meet, and he's a widower, and he's not doing very well. And he's put on a lot of weight because he's eaten a lot of microwave meals since his wife died. And he's just got this thing about his daughter's married to a guy who he thinks is really dodgy, and he knows that one day she's going to need him, and he wants to be ready. When his daughter and granddaughter need him, he is going to be ready, and so he's going to be fitter.
That's a good reason.
So that's why he signs up. And then there's Kathy, who's a librarian, and her husband's done the dirty on her, and she just wants to get a bit of control back on her life. And then there's Brendan and Angela, who are engaged. Brendan's from a very poor side of town, and Angela's extremely rich, and they've got things going. They want to get fit for the wedding, but the Couch to 5K group brings out all their sort of insecurities and what's going on, and how pushy Angela's dad is. And then Yana, who is a Syrian refugee, and what exactly is going on for her, and she runs as an escape. And it's about these very disparate group of people all getting together once a week to do their training, and how their stories are all teased out.
Sounds like a great read.
Oh, it's just lovely, and it was really a book about people connecting. Yeah, and I think that's it was very heartwarming.
What would you give
and
that out of 10?
inspirational. It's for what it is, which is a little beautiful novella. It is a 10 out of 10.
Good on you. And our last book is up there with the best of them for the longest title that you've brought in here today, and it's Good Dogs Don't Make It to the South Pole.
Beautiful. That's Hans Olav Tyvold. I probably mangled that, but that's what I'm pronouncing his name as. That's the author. And this is a fiction book narrated by a dog. So Tassen is our main protagonist in this one, and they live in Norway, and his master, the major, has just died, and he's seen him through that, and now it's just him and Mrs. Thorkildsen, who is the major's widow. And Mrs. Thorkildsen kind of degenerates a little bit and becomes quite a heavy drinker and pours out all her woes to Tassen, and they start to communicate with one another, the dog and Mrs. Thorkildsen. And she starts to tell him stories about Roald Amundsen and his race to the pole, and what a wrong 'un he was, because he lied. He told everyone he was going to the North Pole while he was really planning to go to the South Pole. And he took all those dogs with him, and most of them didn't make it back, and they ate some, and the dogs ate each other, and all these things, and Tassen's just horrified, as he would be. But what it's really about, through all that, that's the vehicle for the way that we can look at human beings and human relationships through the lens of a dog, which we can't obviously do in real life, but it's just interesting to look at people from a different point of view, because we're such a bunch of navel gazers, aren't we?
Yes, we are.
So it was just a really lovely, funny and thoughtful book.
Sounds marvellous.
And he's a good dog. He's a good dog.
You're a dog person, aren't you?
Very
We've
much
talked
so.
about that before, yes. All right, now if you want to get any of these wonderful books, in fact, you've got thousands of books at both of your stores. Just remind our listeners where you are.
We are 16 Tomato Road in Havelock North and 44 Hastings Street in Napier.
As always, our pleasure, Lou. You look after yourself. Talk to the same time, same place next time.
Lovely. Thank you.